Hey guys, I've got bad news and bad news, basically. So, yesterday I was over at Andrew's place and we were recording Yooka-Laylee, and we got like 5 hours done. We must have been like halfway through the game-ish. Like we serious progress was made. And then we close up for the day and I go home and we transfer the footage and we look through the files, and lo and behold, everything's utterly screwed. The footage periodically locks up. The game has no audio recording, and of our two microphones, only one of the microphones was being recorded the entire time. So it's like no game audio, glitchy video, and like barely functional commentary audio. Like it's a nightmare mess. So at this point, I'm gonna have to say that unfortunately, I believe, because this is unsalvageable, I think that Yooka-Laylee is canceled. And I don't like canceling shows, and I don't like not finishing stuff. You guys probably know that by now, but I don't see how we fix this at this point. If it was a different genre of game, I could see myself starting over, and it wouldn't be that big of a deal, especially if it was just me on my own. If it's just me on my own and it was a more replayable genre, then I'd be like, oh yeah, let's just hop right back in there, whatever. Let's just replay these 4 levels of Dark Souls, whatever. They're still fun. But there's multiple issues here where, like, one, I need to wrangle a whole group of people because this is the series I chose to do for our group sessions, and motivating everyone to replay the same game is not easy. But at the same time, I don't know if I want to replay the same game, because Yooka-Laylee is a special kind of game, because it's a spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie and stuff like that, which means that while it is a platformer, the gameplay isn't the gameplay that's the part of the gameplay that's engaging, or is the point, is not the platforming. In that, like, it's not like Mario where you run left or right and you have to do platforming challenges and survive a level and stuff like that. Like, that's very rarely what you're doing in Yooka-Laylee. Yooka-Laylee is like Banjo-Kazooie in that it's about exploration and discovery, and nothing else. There isn't really meaningful combat. There isn't really challenging platforming for the most part, and not even really necessarily puzzle solving. The entire appeal is to get dumped into this place that you've never been to before, and, you know, go poking around and finding all the things and solving stuff and figuring out where you need to go and where they're hiding things. Like, that's the whole point. And so once you know where everything is, like, the idea of replaying it is just like, oh yeah, let's go get that guy over there. All right, yeah, I gotta step on those 3 things to do that thing. Like, there's no wonder or engagement at some point from a commentary standpoint. So I think that if we tried to re-record it, it would just be kind of crap, to be honest, because, like, the opportunity is lost at this point to do it right. And that sucks, but I think that's the case, because it's not a matter of just beating bosses or fighting things or completing challenges, because the game's not very often challenging. It's just about exploring, and if the exploration's lost, then it's really hard to redeem it. So that sucks. Really unfortunate that it happened. Andrew's doing a bunch of tests right now, and stress tests, and tinkering around with stuff to try to make sure this never happens again. And I hope it never does happen again. This is probably the single most catastrophic loss of footage that's ever happened in the history of me doing YouTube. Because I've had an individual session be gone, or an individual recording be gone, or like a weird problem happen during a recording, and various other things, and a bunch of stuff like that. I don't think I've ever lost like 5 hours before. And we're not entirely sure what went wrong, because we always, ever since that one time we lost a recording of Perfect Dark, we've been carefully checking at the beginning of every session that everything's working. So something must have somehow gone wrong within the session or something. I'm honestly not entirely sure. Maybe we'll have answers someday. But either way, I think Yooka-Laylee is done with. There's some chance that maybe we would come back like a year or 2 later to play it, once, you know, memories have faded, so it can be fresh again. That might be a possibility. Maybe we'll get around to playing something more like the original Banjo-Kazooies or something like that, because those are, speaking of things that are faded in my head, I don't really remember them as much. In the meantime, if you just want to experience one of us playing Yooka-Laylee, in the meantime, Andrew has done a 10-hour live stream where he gets 100% completion of the entire game. So if you like Andrew, and want to see him play the game, he went through and did a 10-hour live stream on his channel. I'll put a link in the description or something, or an on-screen annotation at the end of this video in the end slate, if you want to have access to that. To suffice to say, he is not a fan of the game at this point. Let's see, the quote he put on Discord at one point, it was, this game is like if Donkey Kong 64 and Banjo-Kazooie had a baby, and then they dropped that baby down a flight of stairs, is Andrew's review of Yooka-Laylee at this point. Don't know if I'd be as dramatic, but I will say that since I have now played 2 of the 5 worlds in that lost footage and everything, my micro and incomplete review of the game is that it does strangely feel like something is missing here. Like, it's hard to explain what seems wrong about this game, but I can't. There's a flatness to it that feels weird. There's something about it that's empty. I would describe it as a game that seems to be competently put together, but lacking soul, which seems to be, on some level, what people have even said about similar projects, which are like nostalgic Kickstarter projects like Mighty Number 9, where it's like people are like, I guess the game works, but nobody is enjoying it. I think that might be where it goes with Yooka-Laylee. Like, with this recording lost, like, it sucks the video's gone and I can't put it up and continue the series, but I don't really feel that much urge to continue playing the game, which is weird because it's a Banjo-Kazooie follow-up. And a few years ago, when I wasn't doing, like, outside of the context of Let's Plays, like 4 years ago or something, I blazed through Banjo-Kazooie again and had a great time. And I couldn't stop playing it until I got 100% completionism. And this one just feels kind of flat and empty. I look back on the 2 worlds I played through, and I'm like, I didn't really do anything that seemed fun, necessarily. I think part of it might be the level design is so isolated. Stuff doesn't really fit together organically. It feels like the entire level is like kind of like a Simon Says thing, like where it's like a circle with a bunch of buttons in a circle, and you press the different buttons around the circle to do the Simon Says game. Not to say the game is Simon Says, but I mean, it seems like it feels laid out like that. Like, oh, welcome to the middle of this level. If you go in each direction, there's an isolated location for each pagey, and then they're completely isolated from every other part of the game. And that can't help but that does kind of feel like maybe what's wrong with this is it feels like it's by the numbers. It feels very uninspired, and that's kind of a bummer. But yeah, based on the first 2 worlds I've played, I don't really want to play any more Yooka-Laylee, honestly. Like, as much as it sucks to lose footage, I'm kind of okay with never touching it again, which is not what I expected to be my thoughts when I play a follow-up to Banjo-Kazooie, which is one of my favorite games ever, probably. As surprising as that might be for some of you, because you're used to watching me play RPGs and stuff like that. But yeah, anyway, that's the story. Thanks for watching. Sorry if you were liking the series and it got canceled. It's a bit out of my hands. I could really try to force it, but I think that the results aren't really gonna be worth it. I think we're all better off just putting this behind us. I look forward to whatever game we figure out next, after we figure out the technical issues. Whatever game we choose to do next. Look forward to that. And yeah, if you want to see Andrew's live stream, that's on his channel. And hey, if you want to see Andrew's channel in general, if you see him in my... for background, like, he's been in Yooka-Laylee, Mother Russia Bleeds, the Sonic games I've been playing, Perfect Dark. Like, he's been on my channel almost daily for like the last several months, and that's because I've been doing videos with him since 2011. We literally started a channel together, and I went off to do solo stuff at a later point because of the people moving around for jobs and stuff like that, and we sort of like rejoined somewhere around like August or something last year, and we've been doing videos again since then. I have a lot of fun with him. If you want to see his videos, I would recommend subscribing to his channel, The Sad Games, which is the channel we made together in 2011 back in the day. He's not always putting out a ton of videos right now, and I think part of that is because he just doesn't have support. Like, he'll put up a video and he like just no comments and no viewership, and he's much like Birdcatcher, one of the other people I collaborate with a lot. He just feels kind of demotivated due to lack of feedback. It's one of those things where, like, YouTubers often complain about comments. And yeah, a lot of comments really suck, and people can try to get under your skin and do really shitty things to you and stuff like that. But an absence of comments is like a death knell for a YouTube channel, because if you don't feel like anyone cares about what you're uploading, then you can't help but just feel like maybe you just don't upload. And that's been the case with him. Like, we've been recording nonstop for months, and he hasn't even been uploading those to his channel, let alone his solo stuff, because he's just like, no one's there. So if you want to support him on his channel, encourage him to do more. If you're one of the people that does like him, then go ahead and head over there and subscribe and let him know that you like his stuff, because that is helpful. And if you don't like him, well, that's fine. You just don't do any of those things I just said. And by the way, since I'm just shouting out random crap here, by the way, our podcast, there's a SoundCloud for it, if you haven't noticed. It's an audio-only version of the podcast. SoundCloud, what is it? 4nerds.soundcloud.com. It's the link's in the description. Also, we have a Discord. It's been active for months. A lot of my more active fans are all in there. It's just a chat room. It's just a chat room, but I'm in there, and Andrew's in there, and Wanderbot is in there, and sometimes Birdcatcher and Joe are in there, and a whole bunch of the more active commenters are in there, and we just talk. It's just a chat room. But if you want to join in that description, that's in the description too. This is apparently a catch-all video. Maybe I'll give you something else to do now that you don't have a Yooka-Laylee series to watch. I'm sorry. See you guys later.